Hello dear students, can you hear me? Please confirm with the text quickly. Okay. Okay. Today we are going to start from where we finished in the last class. So you can see here I have explained up to the part 1 of stanza 2. Okay. Now open-handed map awarding the world its world, and yet for these children these windows not this map their world, where all their futures painted with the fog. So awarding the world its world refers to the fact that the world made map depicting beautiful countries of the world. The world map depicting beautiful countries of the world. So you can, do you understand the meaning of this open-handed map awarding the world its world? Okay. It means the kind of the physical map that we are having, where the location of different countries have been given. So open and handed map, the map which is on display in the classroom, or it can be anywhere, but the context of this point in the classroom, for example, display the places where they are, right? And yet for these children these windows not this map their world. Okay. For the children, what happens? For the children, not this map but the window, the world outside the window is their world, because they are so poor, they are so downtrodden and deprived that they cannot go to a place outside their slums. Understood? So keeping the world map on the classroom is not relevant, is quite irrelevant to the learning needs of the children. So the poet is saying that map is the world outside their window, because their movement is restricted only in and around their slums, okay, not anywhere else. Therefore for these children these windows not this map their world, where all their future is painted with the fog, or where all their future is painted with the fog. Okay, future is painted with the fog. Fog here refers to uncertainty. Okay, the future of the slum children is very much uncertain, as indistinct as the fog. Therefore it is a metaphor which is used that the future of the children is painted with a fog. So, awarding the world its world, the world map depicting beautiful countries of the world. The world map is depicting the beautiful countries of the world. Now, you understood awarding the world its world. What is the meaning of that? The world map, okay, the world map naturally depicts the location of different places on earth, okay, but in the context of the slum children, these maps are not their world. Their world is the world which is visible outside the window. Window is a map for them. Window means here the world outside the window, okay, the world which is visible through the window is their map, because their movement is restricted to the place to the slum only, okay, or in and around the slum only. Understood? Okay. And then the poet goes on to say that painted with the fog. It means the future of the children is painted with the fog, means as uncertain, as hazy, okay, as unclear as the fog. The future of the children is very much uncertain, very much blurred, okay, like the fog. Now let's move on to the paraphrase of these lines, what I have just explained you, okay, what I have just explained you. So you see the paraphrase here. The world map hung on the classroom displays the names and locations of various countries of the world. The world map hung on the classroom displays the names and locations of various countries of the world. Awarding the world its world means the world map depicting various countries of the world. The world map depicting various countries of the world. But these countries are outside the reach of the slum children, and hence the world map has no importance for the children. Understood? These countries are outside the reach of the slum children, and hence the world map has no importance for the children. Next, the life existing outside the window of the classroom is their actual world and not this map in the classroom. Unfortunately, their world is painted with fog, the fog of hopelessness and hunger. Their future is grim and uncertain. Unfortunately, their world is painted with fog. Okay? Unfortunately, their world is painted with fog, which I have already explained to you, the fog of hopelessness and hunger. Therefore, their future is grim and uncertain. Here, the future of children has been compared to fog actually. Okay, it's a metaphor, direct comparison. Okay, because they have no wealth, they have no money, they have no backup. Okay, in the form of government or in the form of any NGO or anybody. Therefore, the future appears to be very much grim and uncertain. Now, let's move on to part 3 of stanza 2. A narrow street sealed in with a layered sky. A narrow street sealed in with a layered sky. Layered sky here refers to the fact that their future is compared to a narrow street having dull sky above. Their future is compared to a narrow street having dull sky above. Layered sky, you understand the meaning of what is the meaning of layered sky here? Okay, it is like as if the sky above them, okay, the sky above the slum is very blunt as the light. Understood? A narrow street sealed in with a layered sky. The place where they live in the slum is a narrow street, okay, and the sky is also very blunt, it seems. Okay, the sky above the slum appears to be not a clear sky. It's a foggy sky, or you can say it's a blunt sky here. In the reference of layered sky, it's a blunt sky actually. Okay, narrow street having dull sky above. Far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of wars. So, dear students, far, far from rivers means, as I told you in my previous lecture, I explained you the fact that for the holistic growth of a child, okay, physical as well as the mental growth of a child, What is required? A natural landscape is required. Okay, a natural setting is required. Understood? So, uh, you know, it helps us. Nature is has a healing touch. Nature helps us to grow. So the place where the slum children are living, there is no river around, there are no caves around, landscape around. Okay, and stars of wars. Stars of wars, you can see that it refers to the acquisition of radiant light of knowledge is like stars in the sky, which slum children cannot touch. Okay, stars of wars means like as there is hardly any knowledge or wisdom available, as hardly there is anybody to educate them or enlighten them. So knowledge is something which is like stars for the children. Okay, stars for the children means they cannot achieve that, they cannot touch that. Okay, something which is impossible. Okay, so they are away from rivers, they are away from landscapes, and they are away from the radiant knowledge of light as well. Okay, which is indicated by here words. Okay, now let's move on to paraphrase of these lines. Their future is sealed with a dark and dull sky. The poet again says that their world is far away from the actual world of rivers and caves. The poet again says that their world is far away from the actual world of rivers and caves. Stars of words here refers to the acquisition of radiant light of knowledge, which is like stars in the sky, impossible for slum children to reach out to. Okay, stars of words here refers to the acquisition of radiant light of knowledge, radiant light of knowledge, which is like stars in the sky, impossible for slum children to reach out to. Understood? Why? Because see, stars are unreachable for every human being. So likewise, education is something, knowledge is something which is difficult for the slum children to reach out to. Therefore, it has been compared to stars in the sky. These children are far away from the bright light of knowledge and education. Now, let's move on to stanza 3 of part 1. Stanza 3 will go through. So, before I go through stanza 3, I would like to ask students whether you are having any doubt. Good morning all of you, good morning. So dear students, please let me know whether you have any doubt till what I have taught you just now. You please let me know whether you have any doubt till what I have so far taught you. Okay, so that I can explain you, and otherwise I'll go ahead. Okay. Thank you. And hopefully you are able to see the font clearly, dear students. Font is visible clearly. Is the size of the font adequate enough for you to go through, or large enough for you to go through? You please let me know quickly. Is the font large enough for you to go through? Are you able to see the font properly? Okay, thank you, Anish. Thank you. Okay, Nabia. Thank you, Nabia and Anish. Okay, now, now you see. Surely Shakespeare is wicked. The map a bad example. Surely Shakespeare is wicked. The map a bad example. Okay. What do you mean by Shakespeare is wicked? Picture of Shakespeare is useless as slum children cannot read his books. Okay. You might be recollecting that the wall of the classroom is sort of littered with, or you can say decorated with some teaching aids. Okay, so Shakespeare's hat is one of them. Okay, Shakespeare's hat has been given as donation by somebody, while Michel might be. So Shakespeare's hat or the image of Shakespeare is very, very irrelevant. This is what the poet says here. Why? Because slum children cannot have access to read his books, or slum children cannot understand anything what he has said in his books. Therefore, Shakespeare is very irrelevant, quite irrelevant, like other teaching aids kept in the classroom. Understood? So Shakespeare, that is why the poet says that Shakespeare is wicked. Okay, the mad, a bad example. Okay, the existence of a world map in the classroom is also a bad example. The existence of a world map in the classroom, on the walls of the classroom, is also a bad example, because neither William Shakespeare nor the world map which have been donated by the well-wishers for the classroom, both are irrelevant to the learning needs of the children. Therefore, both Shakespeare as well as a world map, both are irrelevant in the classroom. Therefore, Shakespeare has been referred to as wicked and the world map as a bad example. Now, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, what does it mean? See here, in Shakespeare's story, in Shakespeare's stories, in Shakespeare's plays, there are examples of ships, there are examples of love, there are examples of so many alluring objects as well, like palaces, okay, like so many luxuries of life, so many alluring objects, so many alluring pictures, description of the objects have been given, which produce images in our mind. So these things, if the children go through these things from Shakespeare's books, what will happen? They will tend to resort to antisocial activities, because they cannot own these things. So when you cannot own something, you tend to get it by unfair means. So the poet is saying that Shakespeare is wicked, because by reading the stories, by reading the allusions or examples or the references of different objects given in the stories of Shakespeare, children will feel tempted to resort to stealing. Therefore, Shakespeare is not relevant writer for the slum children. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night. Slyly turning their cramped holes means their existence in their congested houses will bring eternal fog and miseries in their lives. Okay? Their existence in their congested houses will bring eternal fog and miseries in their lives. Okay? Here, the attention of the poet has shifted from the classroom to the slums once again. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes for their lives which are being lived in the cramped places in slums. These lives are replete with, or these slums are full of uncertainties, okay, from fog to endless night, because the way the slum children are living cramped lives in the slum, that indicates a very bleak future existence for the children, okay, for the children of slums. Therefore, the poet says that it is very important, indirectly he hints that it is very important to raise the economic condition, raise the living standard of these children. Unless they are allowed to live healthily, unless they are allowed to live in a comfortable manner, a relatively comfortable manner, unless they are allowed to have access to the basic necessities of life, it is impossible for them to grow up in perfect health and mind, okay, body and mind. So this is what is the focus here actually. He's saying the way the slum children are living in a cramped place in slums, it appears that their future is completely bleak. Okay, so this is what has been expressed, this concept has been expressed by these two lines. Okay, Their existence in their congested houses will bring eternal fog and miseries in their lives. Now paraphrase. The poet says that picture of Shakespeare on the classroom wall is irrelevant or meaningless, as slum children will have no opportunity to read books of William Shakespeare. Okay? Yes, I've already told you. Similarly, map is also a bad example, as these poor children can never visit such places as mentioned in the map of the classroom wall. The beautiful world depicted presented on the classroom wall, like the sun, ship, love and care, only tempt them to steal because they cannot have access to this material world. Okay? They live in cramped houses and there is no end to their misery. Their continued existence in such cramped place will result in eternal fog and uncertain future in their lives. Okay? So dear children, now let's move on to stanza 3 of part 2. Okay? On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass. Okay. So dear students, slag heap here is the indication of malnutrition. They are very skinny. They have no flesh on their flesh on their body. They are very skinny, full of bones. So on their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones. Okay, they don't, they are so maltreated. They are so thin that it appears that their bones are visible only. Understood? Their bones are visible in the body. They have no flesh in their bones. Okay, and spectacles of steel. They are so poor that they wear spectacles of steel with mended glass. The glass which which is there in spectacles are mended. They are repaired glasses. Okay, like bottle bits on stones. Okay, so many bits of glass have been fixed together and in the glass surface of the spectacles. So they are wearing the mended glass. Okay, mended glass like bottle bits on stones. Okay, the way bottle bits are there, say if a bottle is broken, so bits lie scattered on stones. The same way, their spectacles are also made by the assembled bits of glass. All of their time and space are foggy slum. All of their time and space, their entire time and space is foggy slum. So blot their maps with slums as big as doom. So blot their maps with slums as big as doom. It means, therefore, their slums are the impediments for any kind of growth in future. Okay, they are doomed to live in slums forever and ever. There is no certainty in their future because their slums are not conducive to the proper growth of those children. Therefore, the poet, out of frustration, out of disappointment for the living condition of the slum children, are saying that blot their maps with slums as big as doom. Okay, understood? So their map is their slums. Okay, which is almost as bad as or as uncertain as doom, as scary as doom. Okay, so here you see, let me read out with mended glass. So I've explained you already. Paraphrase: these kids are so thin that one can easily see their bones through the thin layer of skin. The perpetual or eternal state of poverty is highlighted when the poet says that the glasses which these children wear are cracked and look like broken pieces of bottle on a stone. Understood? The future of these children is uncertain. Therefore, the map on the classroom actually here represent the pathetic slums for the children. Understood? Okay? So blot their maps, you see, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. What does it mean? Replace the map, blot the map, erase the map of the classroom with the picture of a big slum. Okay, this is what the writers say. The map for the children is not the place outside their slum. It is their own slum only, because out of beyond their slums they don't have anywhere to go. That is why the poet says that the map of the classroom actually here represents the pathetic slums for the children, as they have no access to the world depicted in the map. Their map is their congested, cramped and foggy slums only. Their map is their congested, cramped and foggy slums only. Okay? Their map is their congested, cramped and foggy slums only. Understood? This is the only map which the slum children have come to know, and they will continue to know, because they have no other way to come out of the slum. As the present situation stands, their future is very, very bleak and uncertain. Therefore, their future has been compared with fog. So, dear students, I've got to end up. Let me see. I think one paragraph. Yeah, only one stanza is left. Therefore, let me continue. Let me continue. Okay. Now let's move on to stanza 3, part 2. Okay. Now, towards the end of the poem, there is a ray of hope. There is a ray of hope. The poet tends to have become a bit optimistic towards the end of the poem. What kind of positive things he is thinking in his mind? Let us find out. He is saying that unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break open till they break the town. Okay, so the poet suggests some way out, or the poet goes on to suggest the way out for the slum children. What is the way out? Someone has to come up to lift the social and economic condition of these people, of the slum children. So who can come up? Governor can come up, inspector can come up, okay, visitors can come up, NGOs can come up. Understood? So this is the only way out. The poet is hinting at the solution towards the end of the poem. So he is hinting at the fact that he is suggesting a way out. So what is the way out? He says that someone in the form of governor or inspector or visitor might help these children come out of their present condition. How can they help? They can help them with donation, they can help with economic package, they can help them by making good infrastructure, they can help them by replacing the current teaching aids and replacing the current teaching aids with the more relevant ones. Okay, so this is how with donation, with improving the infrastructure, with regular follow-up, certainly governor, inspectors and visitors can elevate the status of the slum children. So the poet says that this is the only way out. Governor, inspector or visitor should come up. Okay. Otherwise what will happen, dear students? Otherwise this map becomes their window, and these windows will shut up their lives like catacombs. Okay. Dear students, unless governor, inspector and visitor do something, what will happen? This slum, the world outside the slum, will be the only place for the slum children, where their life is as confined and as cramped, as cluttered as the catacombs. Okay, catacombs, so you might be knowing the meaning is given in the textbook itself. You can see it's a burial chamber, as it is very confined. Likewise, the life of the children is very much confined, cramped and cluttered like catacombs. Therefore their slum has been compared to catacombs here by the poet. And then he says, break open till they break the town. Okay, till these slum children out of frustration become rebellious, we should come and voluntarily help those people. Otherwise they might resort to some antisocial activities which might then give rise to a lot of violence, okay, or widespread violence. Understood? Therefore it's high time someone must interfere and look into their matter and try to uplift the status of these people. Okay, so like the cemetery, tombs shard the dead bodies. See, okay, the presence of slums outside their windows also restrict their movement and holistic growth. Understood? So like the tomb, okay, tomb restrict the dead bodies. Likewise, what happens? Likewise, windows restrict windows. World outside the windows also restrict the life of the slum children, because they are very much cluttered, congested. They are very much crammed inside the slums. They are not able to come out of the slum because of their glaring poverty or stark poverty. So now let's move on to the paraphrase, or you can say, it's a paraphrase part. The poet means to say that unless government authorities like the governor and inspector visit the school and provide the infrastructure and educational resources to the slum children, their situation will not improve. Okay. Secondly, if they are not given the basic education, their map in the classroom will be just cramped slum outside the classroom window. Understood? So the map is not map is not something that consists of all the places of all the world, but the map will be something like the entire map will consist of their big slum, okay, cramped slums, because their status won't improve, and if their economic and educational status don't improve, in that case they can't come out of the slum. So their map will be their slum only. Like the tomb or cemetery confines the dead body under the soil, likewise the slum that exists outside the classroom window will also restrict the growth and development of the child. Next, the poet requests the authorities to voluntarily take initiative to facilitate basic education, otherwise these children will grow up to become violent and indulge in destructive activities. Yes, of course. So dear students, time has run out. I've got to wind up my lecture. So next day I shall come up with some other one more lesson I'll take up. If you have any particular lesson in mind, you can WhatsApp me so that I can go for the revision of that particular lesson. Okay. So if you want me to sort of revise any particular lesson for the next class, you can text me on my personal WhatsApp so that I can take up this as part of my revision class next class. Okay. So dear students, time's up. Bye bye, take care and have a nice day.